Hello my friends, welcome to The Mental Traveler. I'm Caro, and today I'm going to be talking about Washington Square by Henry James and its two movie adaptations. This video could fall under the playlist when the movie is better than the book, for reasons I'll be mentioning later. I never read anything by Henry James, and since this book was in my university's library, I decided to check it out while I have the chance to do so before I graduate. Washington Square was published in 1880. The movie adaptations came out in 1949 and in 1997. I wish this video didn't have any spoilers, but in the review section I do have to mention some things that happen in the book or the movies that may give away a little bit of the plot. But I have to say them to back up my opinion as to why the movies are better than the book. I'll give you an overall idea of what's going on in Washington Square so you know what to expect. The plot is set in Washington Square in New York City in the middle of the 19th century. It revolves around this old man called Dr. Austin Sloper, who has a very sweet, plain, dull, and shy daughter. Her name is Catherine. Dr. Sloper is a widower, but when his wife was alive, he loved her very much. Unfortunately, he isn't very affectionate towards his daughter, and that makes Catherine a little bit intimidated by her dad. Both of them live with Dr. Sloper's sister, a widower called Lavinia Pennyman. At the start of the novel, Catherine is in her early 20s, and this is a very dangerous age for a young woman in the 19th century because she would have been considered a spinster and on the threshold of being an old maid. And the story really starts when she meets this very handsome young man called Morris Townsend. And to everyone's surprise, Morris starts to court Catherine. She is very flustered by his attentions because she's very insecure of herself, but she ends up quickly falling for him, encouraged by her aunt Lavinia. Trouble arises when Dr. Sloper meets Morris because he believes that since Morris is poor, the only reason he wants to court Catherine is because of the money she would inherit when her father died, because Dr. Sloper is a very wealthy man. So the doctor tells Catherine that she shouldn't marry Morris because he's only after her money, but Catherine can't believe that Morris would be so cruel, and she is certain that he really does love her. In the end, Dr. Sloper states that if Catherine marries Morris, she won't inherit a very large sum of his money, which would mean that Morris would be marrying a woman who wasn't as rich as he had hoped at first. And the book then goes on to describe whether Morris is really in love with Catherine or if he's just after her money. It's a simple, tragic comedy, and its writing style is very good and clean and to the point. As to the story in general, I think it's good that there's a tale out there that deals with this sort of couples, because I always read about women who are considered to be the ones playing with men's affections for their money, but here it's apparently the other way around. But I knew I wouldn't really like this story from the start, and now that I've read it, I still don't like it that much because the protagonist is very different from the sort of characters that appeal to me. It's not unusual for girls in the 19th century to be shy or passive, and it's natural that Catherine, not feeling that loved from her father from the start and growing up to become this woman that isn't very beautiful, it's normal for her to be shy and a little bit insecure. But in my opinion, I don't like female characters that do not fight for what they want, that don't struggle against the current that life is leading them down if they don't like it. For example, my favorite character in the whole world is Scarlett O'Hara, and I also really like Rebecca or Becky Sharp from Vanity Fair, and they're the complete opposites of Catherine in Washington Square. So I knew I wouldn't really like her, despite the fact that through the novel she does show this maturity and she learns a lot in the book. So I did enjoy her character development. As to Morris Townsend, Catherine's suitor, I don't personally enjoy reading about men who are accused of being gold diggers, but I can't condone Morris for caring about money only because he's a man, when that doesn't bother me in Scarlett O'Hara. But in the end, I do recommend this book because it's a classic. There are two movie adaptations of Washington Square. The first one came out in 1949 and it was directed by the famous William Wyler. It stars Montgomery Clift, Ralph Richardson, and Olivia de Havilland. And Olivia actually went on to win the Academy Award for Best Actress for her portrayal of Catherine. Though this movie isn't called Washington Square, it's named The Heiress. The second movie adaptation of Washington Square came out in 1997 and it stars Albert Finney, Dame Maggie Smith, Ben Chaplin, and Jennifer Jason Leigh as Catherine. I enjoyed both adaptations. Nothing stood out in any of them to make me prefer one over the other. But what mostly drew me to them and makes me enjoy the films more than the book is Catherine. In both movies, the actresses who play her bring something different to her role, so that was a plus, but mainly because, as I said, in the book, Catherine is very passive, and even in her moments of defiance, I had a hard time imagining her standing up to anyone. But when I see actresses portraying that, it was better for me watching it than trying to imagine it because I couldn't connect to Catherine. And this is all for today. Thank you for watching this book and movie reviews of Washington Square. Let me know if you agree or disagree with me in anything I said in this video. You can also find in the description box below a link to the Goodreads page of Washington Square, as well as links to the IMDb pages of the 1949 movie adaptation and of the 1997 film, and links to the trailer of both movie adaptations, as well as the link of the 1997 movie because it's here on YouTube. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Take care. I'm Caro, and I'll be seeing you soon.